In apiculture, we have a period called swarming period, a period where old bee colonies divide themselves to form smaller groups that fly away to different locations and never come back. It is a natural means by which a colony reproduces to form new colonies. The new colony formed is called a bee swarm or a swarm, and the phenomenon is called bee swarming or simply swarming. The swarming period varies from places to places. In some places, the swarming season may start from June to October. In some places too, it may start from November to February. So the swarming period varies from places to places. When you go to the temperate areas, swarming season usually happen in the spring season, where there is warm temperature and booming flowers, and so it is necessary for a beekeeper to study his or her area to ascertain the swarming season in his or her area. As I said earlier, swarming is a natural means by which bee colonies reproduce to form new colonies. The reproduction here is different from the reproduction by the queen to produce eggs, or sometimes the reproduction by the worker bees to produce eggs, which rarely happens, but it does happen. The honeybee colony is endowed with an instinct that brings about an increase in the number of colonies from time to time. A colony is a community of bees containing the queen, drones, and worker bees. I talked about it intensely in my video that I titled Honeybee Divisions and Their Respective Roles. You may want to go and check it out to be able to understand the various roles they play, the drones, the queens, and the worker bees play in the colony, and their respective features. You may want to go back to watch that video to understand the bee colony better. A bee colony can produce many swarms a year, sometimes more than 10 swarms in a year. This is a result of a plan made by nature so that when a bee colony is overpopulated or is overcrowded, the queen, together with about 500 drones and thousands of worker bees, will fly away from the hive to a different location to start life newly. No single bee or a group of bees will ever return to the old hive or nest for whatsoever reason, be it going to pay them a visit or going to take back something they left behind or whatever. They never do that. The old hive is forever forgotten. As the bees leave the old hive, they fly giratingly into the sky with a loud hum. Those who have lived in the village must have seen this before. You will see a cloud of flying bees in the air, with a loud hum, moving from one direction to another direction. They will eventually land and cluster yeah, on a tree or on something. Yeah, that would be their temporary place. The sight of it may be frightening to those who are not familiar with bee behavior. So where the land becomes their temporary place, then they send scout bee to go out to look out for a convenient place for them. The place can be a hollow tree or a beehive. Then when they find it, they come back to report to the queen, and then the queen, together with the subordinates, the drones, and then the workers, follow the scout bee to the newfound home. In every year, the first swarm that leaves the hive is called the prime swarm, which consists of the old queen and then the old worker bees and then the old drones. So they will leave several queen cells behind, which will become the new queen for the mother hive. And they will take in honey and other essentials that will enable them to survive when they get to their new home. After a prime swarm, any batch of bees that leave the hive is called a secondary swarm. It usually consists of young queen, young drones, and young worker bees. They are usually docile, they are non-aggressive. They are like so because at that moment they have no broods and no honey to protect, no bee combs to protect, so they are usually non-aggressive. They begin aggressive tendencies when they become well established. That is when they start to produce, they start to build their combs, they start to produce broods, honey, and other products. One thing about secondary swarm is that mostly their queens are virgins, so after a few days they take an nuptial flight for drones to mate with them to start egg production. So how do bees prepare for a swarm? You see, we humans, when we are about to travel, we take days to prepare thoroughly before we travel. Yeah, though it may seem to be so, bee swarms don't just happen. The bees take some weeks to begin preparation before they later issue the swarm. So they are like humans. Before they issue the swarm, they prepare before that. Swarming is a very risky event, and so several things must be done before the swarming usually takes place. A time will come that the bee colony will become overcrowded to the extent that it becomes difficult for the queen bee to control all the bees with her queen substance, and also the hive will become heated. The temperature of the hive will become so high for the bees, and also because of their numbers, some of the worker bees will become redundant. That is, they'll have no work to do. So when that happens, they start to signal themselves that it is time to swarm. So the scout bees will go out to start checking out for new locations for the colony, whilst preparation still goes on within the hive. As the colony prepares for the swarming, new cells will be constructed by the worker bees. They are called queen caps. The queen will lay eggs in those queen caps, and then they become queen cells. So the queen cells will hold the future queens for the mother hive when the old bees and the old queen had left. Yeah, the queen cell is bigger and longer than the normal cells. A week prior to the swarming, the queens will undergo a slimming course. You know, the queen is the biggest and the longest bee among all the bees. So it will undergo a slimming course to enable so that it will be able to fly. The worker bees will feed it, will give it less feed so that it will slim down, and then when it is time to fly, then it's able to fly with the other bees. When everything is right and all preparations are completed, then the bees are ready to swarm. They are divided, and then a part of them leaves the hive, leaving part of them also to stay behind and continue with their life. So that is how bee swarming happens. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you have learned something about bees today. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the like button and then you drop a comment. Also, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you get our updates. And make sure you hit the notification button in order to get noted whenever I make new posts. Thank you so much for your time.